just a final look at some unique Wolfram language applications. This is a bit of a fun section. I mean, you probably already know what Wolfram language can do, but just in case you're not aware, we have obviously immediate input-output functionality. So a bit like a Jupyter notebook, you evaluate something and it appears directly below. And in this case, I've actually grabbed some data from the Wolfram Knowledgebase, some example data. It's just a 3D teapot. But because Wolfram language is completely symbolic, so if we have a look at the full form of this, so what is this actually made of? As you can see, it's completely made of other functions. It's completely, it's symbols all the way down. And because of that, I can literally say, take my teapot and replace all of the things that say polygon with line. And because polygon and line take the same arguments, this is a fine thing to do. And I can also do the same thing with polygon and point. And there you go. It literally just replaces all the faces of this with edges and all the faces of this with points. And for me, at least, I think that's quite remarkable that you can just do that replacement and it just works. And that's purely because it's all symbolic under the hood. Another benefit of Wolfram language, and I promise this wasn't a Mathematica advertisement at the start, is manipulate. So this is a super useful function if you want to create interactive things with sliders and buttons and tab views and stuff. It is admittedly very, very nice, and it's really easy to use. You simply do manipulate, and then the thing that you want to have appear, and then the variable parameter that you want to change. So that's really quite neat. And we also have a lot of machine learning, as I mentioned. So this classifier function that I mentioned near the beginning also has some pre-built classifiers, so you don't have to worry about making your own. So in this case, there's a profanity classifier. So I don't have to worry about, determining what actually, what is profanity, what things are and are not allowed. There's one built in. And so in this case, the Urban Dictionary, unsurprisingly, has profanity. But you can also grab neural nets, built-in ones. So there's the LeNet, which is trained on handwritten digits. That's a very famous neural net. So as you can see, it has identified these as being 6, 8, and 0. But if you really want, you can create your own. So in this case, I can create one that attempts to fit to a sine curve. It's a bit of an odd thing to do, but as you can see, it's training. I could stop it early. That's probably going to make it give a poorer result. There you go. So here's the sine curve in blue, and here's the yellow curve that I've attempted to learn, which is quite nice. And obviously, as I said earlier, we have curated knowledge in the Wolfram Knowledgebase. So finally, just to finish, I'd just like to mention a couple of resources if you're stuck with the Wolfram language and you need some help. There's the Wolfram community. So this is a website where we have Wolfram members and public people alike who submit their own notebooks. So you can upload notebooks here, which is rather neat, and their own questions, things like that. We also have the Wolfram function repository, which I've already mentioned, which is user-supplied functions. I've done one myself. I think only one, just to say that I could have my name up there. So these you can use immediately. So you just click on it to copy, and then you can paste it down here, and then you can start using it straight away. Wolfram demonstrations, we have 12,000 demonstrations for you to insert into your code. So this is one I'd recommend if you are a teacher. You can just grab one of these demonstrations, download to desktop, and then you start using it. So in this case, this is one about Conway's Game of Life, and it's really quite nice. And I've actually used this one many times because it's just so well made. But obviously, once you've downloaded it, if I expand this code, you can see here's the actual underlying code. I can edit the code to my liking. So if I don't think the person wrote very good code, I can rewrite it. That's also fine to do. Okay, so I think I will leave it there. There was a little bit of optional content at the end, more about APIs and form pages, but yeah, I don't think we need to go into that today. I think that will do. I hope you enjoyed this talk. I hope it wasn't too much of an advert, and that I gave a reasonably fair comparison between the two languages, and hopefully I demonstrated how the two can be unified into one workflow.